We often talk about cancer. The word cancer has a lot of implications. The first thing that comes to our mind is a kind of subtle fear. But fear of what? Is it fear that we might get cancer any day? Or is it fear that a lot of pain and sorrows are attached to this particular word? Well, today I am at Karunashraya at Bangalore. So, Karunashraya is a free palliative care for advanced stage cancer patients. With cancer, a very truth that we tend to deny is about when the person would be no more, when the treatment, the medical interventions has shut down, not their doors, but nothing could be done. And the person leaves and they have to stay and they know their days are counted. But this is the truth of life and we can't deny the fact. So, how gracefully, how divinely we can bring that journey and we can go along with the person in their divine journey. So, that is all about how palliative care is done. That is all about how gracefully we make their last journey peaceful and divine. So, when cancer is beyond cure and the patient needs care and symptom control, that is where Karunashraya comes in. Karunashraya as an institution helps these patients have a pain-free, comfortable and peaceful life for as long as they live. Karunashraya is a 73-bed hospice which provides total free care for the patient. Food, medicines and counseling support are provided free of charge, which helps the patients to live peacefully and comfortably till the end. Today, I am privileged to have and host Gurmit Singh Randhawa, the main person, the backbone of Karunashraya. And we will see how the truth of life Karunashraya is seeing, and through our lens, we will try to bring the real stories out here. And it's not that death is a dreadful word. That's the truth of life. Welcome, sir. It's my pleasure to host you today. And thank you so much for accepting my invite. And it's a privilege for me to talk with you and learn more about Karunashraya. So, sir, first thing first, as far as I know, that you have dedicated your life to build, palliative care in India. So I think with Karunashraya, if I'm not wrong, you are associated almost more than 31 years now. So that's 3 decades of time. What I wanted to understand is that what was that moment or experience that made you decide that you will dedicate your entire life to build such a fantastic organization?
Yes, Gargi, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to do this podcast with you. My journey into palliative care, and more specifically Karunashraya, started in 1993-94 when I was the president of the Rotary Club of Bangalore, Indranagar. And in the preparation to take over as president, we were looking at what projects that we could take up which would serve the people, and a need that was not really covered so far. And at the same time, the Indian Cancer Society, Mr. Kishore Rao, who was the then secretary of the Indian Cancer Society, was looking at setting up a hospice. I had just been through my mother's breast cancer just before that. And so cancer was very much on, I had a lot of interest in that. Mr. Kishore Rao was also on the governing council of the Kidwai Memorial Hospital, Cancer Hospital. And he was touched by people who would sort of finish their treatment, and there was no further treatment available for them. And he would wonder and ask them, where are you going? What are you going to do? And invariably, the answer was that really we don't know what to do or where to go. And so at that point, the Indian Cancer Society approached Rotary Bangalore Indranagar. My colleague, Dr. S. Sima, who's currently a medical director here, was also working with the Indian Cancer Society. And so he put Mr. Kishore Rao in touch with me. And over many conversations, trying to understand what a hospice is, what it will take, we finally decided to set up a trust called the Bangalore Hospice Trust in 1994. So the trust is now a little over, 32 years old. And the idea behind setting up the trust was to provide absolutely free palliative care, or in those days what we would call care for the terminal cancer patients, either through home care or inpatient care. So that in a way was the beginning of my involvement with the Bangalore Hospice Trust, from the journey from October 1994, which continues till date. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, I think some brilliant minds started thinking of this, and today we see such a beautiful place as Karunashraya. I won't call it a place because honestly, when first time I came here, I always wanted to visit a hospice. I'll be very honest with you. First thing that came to me is, oh, it might be a place where it will be pain, it will be sorrowful. But when I entered Karunashraya, I'm not just trying to, exaggerate here, but honestly, I feel that it's just like an ashrama where we go and we find that peace. It's a very, very peaceful place, full of positivity and calmness. That was my first feeling. So I think I will have a lot of things to ask you.
Yes.
So in that context, sir, I feel that human beings, like normal people or in whatever field we belong from, there is some misconceptions with the word death, with the word palliative care. So because you have such an extensive experience, you see things day in and day out. What do you think are the most common misconceptions people have around palliative care, and that really needs to be broken?
Yes, to explain that, I need to go back to 1999 when we opened the hospice, and we started with 55 beds. And we were a bit shocked because we thought, we'll get a lot of patients, and, getting patients was difficult. And we realized very quickly that there were two things which were sort of a roadblock for getting patients. One was the understanding of what palliative care or what a hospice care is among the medical fraternity itself. Whether it is, oncologists or the oncosurgeons or the general practitioners, people didn't know what palliative care or what hospice care was. That was one aspect. The second one was the stigma that people felt that how can I send my loved ones to a place where, they'd probably die, or to be looked after by somebody else. And that was the other aspect of it. So, we had to do a lot of advocacy work with the medical fraternity, with the oncologists, oncosurgeons, with the general public. So with the result that it took us at least about 3-4 years before we started getting a regular stream of patients coming to us. And more than anything else, I think it is also the fact that the first few patients whom we looked after, and then by word of mouth, the word spread about us. doctors also came to know the benefit of coming into a hospice and a palliative care. And of course, things are different today. Palliative care is a little better understood among the doctors. And therefore, we at some stage from 55 beds, we moved on to our current strength, which is almost what, 73 beds. And so that, in a way, helped us in getting patients. But the misconception of, what hospice care and what palliative care does still persists. And it's something that will take time. The medical fraternity is beginning to understand it better. So therefore, our referrals from the doctors and the hospitals is increasing. But mind you, 60% of all our patients still come from word of mouth of our family members of our previous patients. So that's
Yeah. So I think, could we just think like, if we at least spread more awareness, or probably we need to have, as medical professionals, we need to get trained in this aspect. So would you like to highlight certain training programs that are going on in Karunashraya, so that the people from the medical background could take advantage of it and they can train themselves?
yes. So one of the things that we looked at was research and education, and especially training people in palliative care, being one of the pioneer institutions in palliative care. So we have 10-day programs which are introduction to palliative care for the doctors and nurses. We have been working with the government of Karnataka, with the government of Odisha, where we have trained the government doctors from the districts who have come to us, 10-day residential program. And we do not charge anything for it, except for they have to meet their own travel and the stay expenses. But the training we provide is absolutely free of cost. The advantage, of course, here is that it's not only theoretical knowledge, but they tend to also get to experience the wards and be with our doctors and nurses. The other program which we run is counseling programs. So we have a counseling program which is an online counseling program, counseling in palliative care. And this is certified by us jointly with the Manipal Academy of Higher Education. So people who attend that get certified, and so they are able to then be counselors and work in psycho-oncology departments in the hospitals and in palliative care setups. We also train our nursing aides. So we have a general duty assistant training program. This program, it takes about 20 to 25 young girls who have passed their 10th standard. And we have a 6-month program, which is a residential program. And we also provide them a stipend and uniform and free food while they are here. And most of these girls, we absorb them as nursing aides. So this also helps us in, filling this very important gap in nursing. So while we have the BSc nursing, who look after the nursing aspects, but the caring aspect for the patients in terms of bathing the patient, feeding the patients, being with the patients is fulfilled by the nursing aides, or what we call as the general duty assistants. And this program is now jointly certified by Skill India. So there is value added to this certificate.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for that comprehensive, overview of the courses, because I think it's not only about understanding palliative care. I think this is also opening new career opportunities, which definitely, it's a very niche area. And once they get trained, they are also getting the opportunity to work directly in the wards and patients. So I think it's a fantastic, thing that you are building. So I think we need to talk about this more.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Sunil. I'm the founder of Apothecare, a one-stop solution for specialty medicines like anti-cancer. We are also the top rated distributors for cancer medicine supply across India. And speaking about Cancer Circle, I feel this is a brilliant initiative which has been taken up, because in cancer care, the continuum of care is very important. It's not only one touch point, a patient and a caretaker requires an entire ecosystem, because they should not be confused and they should not be left with no options. That's where Cancer Circle, with its approach of the entire ecosystem coming in together, makes very much important and senseful for the patients. From Apothecare, we supply medicines, which becomes one of the important cog in the treatment of the cancer. And along with that, we do see lot of unmet needs of our patients. Okay, and I always felt that there should have been an initiative like this which always supports patient, because when they come, they don't just come to buy a medicine, they come to us to buy an assurance saying that yes, we are with you. And precisely that's what Cancer Circle is doing, and I'm super proud to support this initiative. Thank you.
Hi, I am Dr. Gargi Rai Goswami. I am the founder of Cancer Circle. Today, Sunil, thank you so much for supporting Cancer Circle
Yes.
and understanding the mission and vision behind it.
Always there to support all the noble cause you are doing.
Thank
all the
you.
best to Cancer Circle.
Thank you, Sunil, and thanks to the entire Apothecare team. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Throughout these many years, you have seen many patients, many caregivers, many lives going to their, divine journey. If I may ask you, among all these stories, is there any one patient or one story that really moved you and, gave you some direction, new direction, to bring this part of palliative care or build certain things in the Karunashraya ecosystem? Is there some story that you could remember?
Every patient who comes is a story by themselves. And one of the things in palliative care is that we believe that a patient is an individual, and he's not just a patient of this cancer or that cancer, but he's by his name and is an individual. Each person who comes here comes with their own baggage, their own background. So if I was to pick one story, I think that will be difficult because there are so many stories. And for example, we had in early days a patient who was with us in his probably last few days, and two small children, school-going children. And his anxiety was, what will happen to the children after I die, because he was the sole breadwinner. And so we then had to find a solution to that. Unfortunately, we were able to find another NGO who was able to give scholarships to these students. There was another case where the person was admitted here, and his wife would visit regularly with the small children. And within a week, 10 days, his wife was also diagnosed with cancer. So we had this case where, the husband was with us and the wife had to undergo treatment. There was nobody to look after the children. And therefore, we felt that getting people to volunteer who can, go to the homes of these kind of people, who can visit people, working with other NGOs, and these kind of, things that would help these patients. So every patient has taught us to sort of, how to look after them, find ways and means. See, after all, palliative care looks at the best quality of life that we can provide to these patients who are at the end of their life. And this can be done through expert palliative medicine, which is controlling pain and symptoms, which can be done through good psycho-oncology interventions of counseling skills. Sometimes it is more social, because you've got to look at the circumstances in which these people have come to us, how their lives are, and whether any psychosocial interventions are required so that they have peace of mind. We have had cases where we have brought forward weddings because once the patient knew that they have limited time, and so their daughter was supposed to get married, so they said we want to bring it forward, and we had a small ceremony done here at the hospice. So we have had occasions where birthdays have been celebrated. So each case, each patient has taught us to how to look after them better. And mind you, when the patients come here, their knowledge of their prognosis is absolutely sometimes zero and sometimes very, very limited. The unfortunate bit is that in the hospitals, when the patient is being discharged and he's already had his treatment and there's no further treatment available to them, the doctors tend to communicate that with the family members. And they'll tell the family members. The patient himself is kept in the dark. And the family members will not break that news to the patient because they think the patient, will not be able to take it. So in that circumstances, when they come to us, counseling and, it becomes very important for us. We believe that every patient must know what's happening to them. And that's only possible if the counselors work with the families. We have to first convince the families the benefits of a patient knowing what's happening to them. So that is in that context, the patients who have unfinished businesses, like I said, weddings, and sometimes it is financial, sometimes it is property. All these things, then the patients, along with the families, are able to look after. So we have lawyers who are, who pro bono work with us, who can help these patients if a will has to be made or, property has to be gifted to someone. So many other cases like this. So this in short is, what the patients have taught us, and this is what we have now able to give to our patients here. So over the years, our counselors and doctors, they have collected many of such cases. Some of them are very unique. And so this has come out in a beautiful book that we bought out. And this sort of covers the story of patients from time they were admitted here and their experiences and how their end was. So this book is good for those who want to know more about a hospice and for students of palliative care, for people, who generally are not unawares of what hospice is.
Yeah.
So that's a
That's a
good
very,
publication.
very nice thing. That's a very nice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here in hospice, basically we talk about giving a graceful goodbye to somebody. So what would be a good goodbye according to you?
See, one of the things that is recognized is that people, when they're dying, one of the main concerns is how will I be remembered? What kind of legacy I'm leaving behind? Many times it is also if, they have wronged someone.
Right.
So there are cases where the husband and wife have not got along, and the husband, his last wish is that he wants to make up with the wife, or he's estranged from the family. So last wish is how he can, make up with the family members. And this is where the counselors and our admin staff, they try to help, they try to bring people together. Legacy is another very important issue because people would like to know, will I be forgotten after I die? How will I be remembered? Will my children remember me? Will my friends remember me? So that's something we also counselors, when they counsel patients, they try to bring out the things that they've done in life. It is reinforcing all the good things that they have done in life. And now recently we also started this exercise on legacy where they can write things, they can leave their fingerprints, they can, for the family members. So, so there are various activities around this that we do. Other thing which of course is, people fear death.
Yes.
Now, it's a subject which is in general population, in our social sector, social circles, we don't talk about it.
Correct.
It's a kind of a taboo subject. And people generally think, what will happen if somebody comes to know that they're dying? They always say that what happens to a soldier when he's going into battle, he knows that, there's a good chance that he may not come back. So our experience here has been of many, many cases, people who have come here who have not known their prognosis. And once the prognosis is told to them, the resilience in accepting that, unlike the general fear that people may die of a heart attack, or people will, sort of not be able to take that news, it is not so. There are very rare cases that people tend to sort of, for some time get over the fact. But by and large, people tend to accept it. And this is not anything to do with the level of education, or how sophisticated you are, or from which strata society you come from. This is right across. And this issue of legacy, issue of remembrance is also right across. So, as I was telling you, that it's a blessing for many people when they get to know, because then they are able to manage all this unfinished business that they have, mend the estranged relationships that they've had. And, for the people working here, it's an extremely satisfying.
Yes.
When you're able to help, the patients die a better death.
Correct.
With all this.
I mean, somebody who doesn't know what is happening, again, it builds up that kind of anxiety, fear, uncertainty.
That's right.
But I think, as you rightly mentioned, that it's the right of the person to know what is happening.
Yeah.
That clarity.
Absolutely.
And I think from that, the acceptance becomes little easier.
Yes. And people are able to do, whatever unfinished businesses they have.
Correct.
And it's not that unfinished businesses are well-to-do people. They have, it's right across. It may be small things, but for them it's a big thing. It's a...
Right. So, sir, coming to the conclusion of this conversation, I would really like to learn from you that, you have seen lives, you have seen human vulnerability, you have seen so much of pain and loss and sorrows. So, is there a learning that we can take away from you, from your experience, that how we should live life when we are actually healthy? Because we keep complaining of so many things. So I think that would be a great takeaway, at least for me, and I think for everybody out there, if you can teach us that.
So, Gargi, there is a saying in the Buddhist, this thing, if you want a good death, have a good life. So, which basically means that knowing fully well that end is there for all of us. And to have a good end, we need to live a life which is where we can help others, a good life where we don't hurt other people's feelings. Now, the conversations that need to happen about death in our social circles, those kind of conversations help us in believing that, we are going to go one day. And so the pain sometimes people feel at end of life, of having hurt people, of estranged lives, of doing things which they shouldn't have done, and that realization that comes at death. If that realization comes earlier, that at the end of life we are going to not be answerable to anyone else, but answerable to ourselves at death, then people will tend to live a better life. So I think there's a lesson in that like the old Buddhist tradition, if you want to have a good death, live a good life.
I think that's a very, very important and bold learning that we are taking away today. And thank you so much, sir, for your time today. And it's a pleasure and honor for me to host.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.